You know what I'm talking about? That lettuce, that lettuce. Gotta get it. Gotta get it. That lettuce, that lettuce, focused all on the check. Yeah, all I want is lettuce. Yeah, just give me the lettuce. Yeah, just give me the lettuce. All I know is lettuce.
Let us heads, we are back with another edition of Please Let Us Golf, the podcast. Tonight you got Goldie and Adam. We're going 1v1, Adam. It hasn't just been me and you in a while. How are we doing?
Doing good, man. I think we're both playing hurt. You know, I've got a little bit of a chest cold, and I know you had some issues today, but you know what? We're both showing up. You know, the pod has to get sent out. So
Yeah, we're not going to get into details. Some significant gastrointestinal problems in the household that I have no idea how I'm doing this, but I'm hopped up on what I can be to get through this episode. But you know, for plug, if you're listening tonight, we are going to be doing a recap of the Genesis Invitational. Riv, everyone loves Riv. One of the most I wouldn't say sought after, what are the most beloved courses on the PGA Tour Rota. We'll probably get into that a little bit in the episode. And it's back-to-back signature event week. So hopefully the schedule changes. We don't have to get hit with back-to-back signature events, maybe starting in 27. There's some rumors. But we had Pebble last week, but we also jammed in a special episode. So if you didn't check it out, we sat down for a little bit with James Nicholas after his first win on the Corn Ferry Tour. Super interesting guy. A little crash course 30-minute interview. Released that last week as well. But this week we're going to be focusing on Riv with Goldie and Adam. The Bridge Man, we've been given, you actually talked about him last year. I don't know if you remember. You were like, who's this Bridge Man? Jacob Bridgman. So we might have to, I'll still call him Bridge Man for fun.
yeah,
But
I was for sure making fun of him.
And last week he had that debacle on the 18th hole at Pebble Beach, to where he literally stopped play for 18 holes for 30 minutes on the 18th hole with Colin Morikawa waiting in the group behind him trying to win a tournament. So it wasn't the best look, but hey, dude, he came out this week and he hit the shit out of the golf ball. Any top level thoughts on the Bridge Man before we get into details?
This guy keeps showing up on leaderboards. Like, I remember, last year when I threw his name out there as like just one of these guys. I was like, who is this dude? This dude is going to be here today, gone tomorrow. We'll forget about him in a few months, but we can't get rid of him, man. He keeps showing up on leaderboards, and dude, man, he absolutely blew the field away yesterday. Just absolutely just ball struck it to death, putted it to death, did everything. Dude's, he's a player.
Yeah, when you lead the field in strokes gained putting and strokes gained approach for the week, we need a real data analyst. Tyler down there in the studio, maybe take this note just to remind us for the future. Has anyone ever lost a tournament when you were strokes gained leader in approach and putting? So it's pretty tough to do. Those are two important categories.
Yeah, it was like he gained like 6 strokes on the field, I think. Strokes gained approach. And
yeah, well, yes, yeah, and his overall for the week, is wild, man.
It's insane. Which strokes gained approach. I want to say that's probably the most important stat for Riv.
Yeah,
not really.
No, for sure. I would say so. I was going through. If I have a little lag there, I was refreshing my data golf. I got caught on something, but yeah, certainly for Riv, and I do want to get into little details of the course and how it played and set up. Before we get into those details, let's do a quick little leaderboard check in, because that might help generate some stories. So, the Kitty Cat comes from nowhere. We haven't heard Kurt Kitayama in a while. He backdoored a T2 with Rory. We love our guy Rory. He was exciting to watch. He didn't really have it on the front nine, but he made a mini charge there on the back with a nice little putt there on 18 in front of Tiger. The theatrics. Adam Scott, one of the handsome we love him, but 8 under today. He just had a dud on that 70, 63, 72, 63. That's a there's some peak there, so it's kind of interesting. And he's been He's been struggling with the putter the last year a little, and he's a lab guy, but when he's got it rolling, man, he still ball strikes the hell out of it. Not
He's a
shocking to
streaky
see
guy.
him. He's streaky, not shocking to see him up there. Hey, Colin Morikawa, I think we might have had some receipts where last week you said he will not top 20 this week. T7, Cam Young up there, is Tommy Fleetwood up there. So I mean, I think the thing about a course like Riv is the guys who can hit the golf ball seem to over 4 days find their way up the leaderboard. And I got one more name you know something about that I'm going to say for a second. But anything on the leaderboard that jumped out? I know you want to get into your guy Spieth. What about Jordan Spieth? Did anything stand out for him? Another pretty solid week.
Let's go back to Colin for a second,
Okay.
because something just, it really bugged me on Friday. And this has been something that you've called out before too. He's a one-shot golfer. He just hits that little baby cut, and when he gets to a hole like he did on Friday, the par 3 14th, and the pin is all the way front left, and he has no green to work with over there on the left, but he still hits the cut and it goes straight right into the bunker. And his
Yeah.
two guys that he's playing with, the shot there is a baby draw when it's all the way to the front left. And his other, playing partners hit that little baby draw, which Rory didn't really pull it off, but Fleetwood hit an okay shot. But yeah, he's just he does it really well. He hits that cut like perfect. If the course sets up or the hole sets up, good on him. But man, he's just a one trick pony, and I just.
It's decade golf's wet dream, man. Just one single shot shape. Now we've been on him for when he's got it going, he's so good at it that he can get away with it. But certainly, I think when there's a dynamic course that really tests the whole bag, that if you're going to compete at the PGA Tour level, you got to be able to hit some different shots. I do like Rory. I kind of blew by him, dude. I don't know. He was hitting some wild shots off the tee. He was hitting stinger drivers and stinger 3-woods. Some of them probably stung a little more than he intended. But I was noticing it all week on, what is it, either 13 or 14, that little tight dog leg left par 4. He was hitting like a little stinger draw in there all week, like 45-foot apex. Today, it was like a 25-foot apex. I think he caught it a hair skinny, but it was some pretty sick stuff. And then Jordan Spieth, okay. He's a needle. Strokes gained putting second on the week again. I think he was third or fourth last week. So my theory on great golfers, so you have Jordan Spieth's superpower when he was at his peak was putting. Now it was insane putting from like that distance range. I don't remember the exact stat, but it was like 18 to 25 feet. He made more putts in that range than everybody in like the whole field combined for a season. It was ridiculous, but he was a very, very, very good putter. And then he just went wayward for years now, along with his swing. But 2 weeks in a row on not traditionally the easiest greens in the world to putt on at Pebble and Riv, at the top of the leaderboard. So I'm a firm believer that if you're going to be a great golfer, your superpower has to be dialed. And I think what happens with a lot of guys is they want to chase the distance because they're lagging in that. They want to chase this. And I think that's what happened with Spieth, and he got a little wayward. And I just love to see the putter back.
Yeah. When you start seeing those putts just kind of start, dripping in, you kind of know like, oh, he's back, baby. Not to derail the pod, but I've been thinking about this the last couple of days. I think we have to have like a putter rollback. Like Spieth's superpowers have just been kind of neutralized because everybody is just all these putters that aren't great putters. They just switch to a spider or a lab, and it's like, oh, they go from, 78th strokes gain to like 30th. And that's the difference. Like if you're a great ball, okay, I'll use the Scottie. I'll use Scottie here. Like Scottie was an awful putter before he went to the spider. I mean, I say awful. He won golf tournaments, but like it's because he was neutral, strokes gained putting. And then he switched to the spider, and all of a sudden he wins 8 tournaments. He's won multiple majors. And you can even throw Rory in that mix. Like he went to the Spider. I mean, I don't mean to call TaylorMade out here. It's kind of more of a compliment to them. Like these putters are just too good. And like we've lost like all the real putters on tour, like the real ones, the ones that are out there with blades, man. Like all the best putters, like Tiger, Phil,
Yeah.
Spieth, like the truly great putters. They're not out there using these massive mallets with unbelievable MOI. I
Well,
don't know,
so,
man. I know I just went down a rabbit hole.
well, no, I don't know if you saw it though this week. So Brandel came out at the beginning of the week with his big stat drop that from 2005 to 2025, he showed by categorical increments of distance that putting has not improved. As a matter of fact, it got slightly worse. And I went off because as much as I do like Brandel as an analyst, you're a data guy in your trade and your other life too. It was the most like it was like everything you would teach somebody that would be coming up of what to be wary of when trying to make some kind of conclusive whatever for an outcome. So, first of all, you cherry pick two random years and you compare them against each other. There's not some rolling, cycle to see, okay, what does this change over a period of time? It's just two date stamps. So that's issue number one. Issue number two, you're talking about 2005 data pulls that had very, very, very low integrity compared to the level of data that they were pulling today with the level of fidelity and consistency. Three other things. What you also PGA Tour green speeds on average have gone up by 1.5 on the stimp meter for the last 20 years. Pin placements are cut an extra 1.5 feet closer to edges and on average 1 degree more slope than they were 15, 20 years ago. So just the progressive difficulty of putting. And so all I'm saying is I wouldn't be shocked if you did that analysis and you showed, okay, over a complete PGA Tour field, maybe the mean performance hasn't drastically changed. But if you really broke it down and you started looking at what we're talking about of like your better half of the field and the changes they made, and what happened when they went to a mallet, what happened when they went to a lab putter, whatever it might be. If you could control for the variables and put them in the same simulation, there's no way people aren't putting slightly better now than 20 plus years ago. It's just not. It's not feasible with the technology gains. And I know Brandel's an anti-rollback guy, so now he's probably trying to be an anti like putters. Nobody's really changed anything. No one solved putting. And again, I'll get off my soapbox to say certainly technology isn't going to impact putting anywhere near that it's impacting like driving the golf ball to where that's almost borderline ruining the professional game. I don't think it's really having any negative impact on the professional game outside of the aesthetic of, yeah, like watching Tiger with the pretty blade and being able to use his hands and talking about releasing the toe. But that's just not a thing. Now everyone's going to have a spaceship putter, and that's just how it's going to be.
I mean, I think now more than any other time, like putting is extremely, extremely important just because, yes, distance plays a massive key on the PGA Tour, but everybody now, all these guys, they all run it up there, 320, 330 off the tee. It's just like a prerequisite. And so where do you gain an advantage? And it's going to be around the greens or on the greens. And man, I don't know.
What? Hey,
I
this is coming
I
from the guy that sent me a video message 3 days ago, basically asking me to borrow a lab putter.
Hey,
To test
I'm not taking it. I'm not saying we take it away from the amateurs here, man. We got to do a little bifurcation. All right. I do want a little higher MOI.
Hey, well, I got a really quick. So Tyler down there in the studio, he sent us a comment and I blew past it because you got into the putter gate we're doing right now. So we brought up Bridgeman and we said, hey, I was like, when is the last time somebody, was leading in strokes gained, putting and approach and lost the tournament? Well, this was pre-shot link era, so you got to take it with a grain of salt. But he did a little digging, and it said the closest stat he could find was Greg Norman in the '96 Masters, tying the course record with a 63 on Saturday, and he was leading all statistical categories before the collapse on Sunday. Whatever the we love it. Live data, you know what I'm saying? You go fact check, do it all yourself. But Tyler, great work, man.
Tyler Stat Boy down there.
Stat boy, hell yeah.
We love
I
that.
love it. Yeah, just don't fact check us on anything live as we go, because we probably have some inaccuracies, but it's how it is. All right, Scottie. Okay, Scottie, I have to do this. I do want to get back and talk about Riv properly. Got some thoughts on it, but let me start off by saying I am not debating in any shape, way, or form. let me start that over. I am not saying, and I'm not debating, that Scottie Scheffler is not the best golfer in the world. Scottie Scheffler is clearly the best golfer in the world, and it's been that way for 4 years now. And this isn't a reflection on Scottie, because Scottie's not out there. He's not braggadocious. He's not beating his own chest. I almost wish he did a little bit more. It'd be a little bit more exciting to watch. But the whole world around Scottie that keeps pushing the made cut streak stat, we got to stop it. So like this week alone, they have a new made up rule for a handful of signature events where there's a cut. 70 players, 50 in ties make the cut, or if you're within 10 strokes of the lead. Scottie, with a miraculous back nine, figures out a way to make it on the cut line to be T50 and make the cut this weekend. And all the stats, PGA Tour, data golf. Scottie Scheffler, the streak is alive. He's catching Tiger. All right. Say what you want about whoever Tiger was playing. Say what you want about Tiger's success in a handful of WGC non-cut events. The last 4 years during Scottie's ascension, one, there is an asterisk because live golfers are not in these fields. That is, I've said it multiple times on the pod, that impacts greatly your ability to have a full competitive landscape challenging you at the cut line, and more importantly, for him to win tournaments. Number two, the volume of no cut tournaments and now this fake cut tournaments, it just basically made the stat meaningless. So it's like, on one hand, I feel like it's almost a waste of time, because I'm not trying to like hate on Scottie. It's just, on another hand, it is not close to what we saw of the sustained level of Tiger's cut streak, 72 hole, grinding out 20 plus events a year, almost all of them full cut, full field. So I'm going to stop there of like not trying to do the Scottie hate, and I'm hedging on that in case there's people here. You can't have his people in my ass, but it's just a joke. Like I got more issues with the non-standard cut streak rule that they have now, or this weird thing they're trying to do. But yeah, thoughts on Scottie?
I love Scottie Hay. That's one of my favorite things to do, honestly. I mean, he's not even really close to this Tiger streak, right? I mean, like, he's not even remotely close. He's like, what, halfway there?
No, yeah, not even halfway there.
Okay.
So, or just right around the halfway point, I think. So yeah, he's not like knocking on the door yet, but I just hate it because it was like, well, the last 2 weeks, case in point, like on a full field event, he probably wouldn't have made the cut, or Pebble would have been debatable. This week, he definitely wouldn't have made the cut. He'd have been 3-4 shots out of a cut line.
No, I agree. It's a disgrace, man. I'm right there with you. I hate it just as much as the next guy.
Scottie the disgrace. Okay. Well, people are probably rolling their eyes at this point. Still, and of course, he's still almost backdoor to top 10, even after the terrible start. All right, let's talk about Riv a little bit. So part of Scottie's issues day one, he did play in the peak of the weather. So the irony is, as unfortunate and sad as last year was, having to cancel the event because of the terrible wildfires, this year, the whole week leading up to the event, it was a deluge. It was literally an atmospheric river of nothing but rain in the area that continued through Thursday. Friday, Saturday, Sunday's weather was great. But even today, man, the course was so soft. You're seeing 4 irons spinning backwards. You're seeing one of the weirdest hole-in-ones I've ever seen today. Gracer, man, go look up the clip. The ball lands behind the hole, spins back. It really jumps back because it took such a huge, a moon chunk out of the green, and then goes forward. I've never seen that in golf to where the ball jumped that far back and then went forward again. It literally had to oscillate to where that was like still backspin. So it's kind of sick. But yeah, I would just
Kakua.
say, yeah, yeah, we heard all about the sticky cuckoo. It's just one of those. Riv doesn't really have penalty off the tee. It's a strategic golf course. It's a ball striking golf course. And when you remove all of the angles for being an obstacle, you essentially could be anywhere and you weren't really out of position because with a PGA Tour level player, for a normal Joe Blow, even a scratch golfer, playing that soft of a golf course would probably just be long and difficult, and the rough would be that much more difficult to hit out of. But for a pro, it becomes just absolute target practice. And I think that's why you saw a lot of like Bridgman separated himself, but a lot of jam leaderboard behind that of just guys. It wasn't really showing Riv of what it should be.
I guess my question is what should Riv be? I don't this this tournament's kind of weird for me because year in year out, like, yeah, I'm told it's like, one of the maybe the biggest event on tour, like just
Mhm.
regular event, non-major. But I like through the years there's not really any great finishes. Um, the winners, I mean, it can kind of be up and down. And
I
and
feel
maybe
like
that's
it's
just go ahead.
sorry, no. Yeah, I feel like it's sacrilege, but I'm here to back you up. I'd like to just have some debates with you on this, but Golfberg isn't here to say it. I think he was texting us the same thing of my issue with Riv is everyone I know who's gotten to play it that are like people with deep libraries of golf courses, right? These are people that have played some of the best, not just in the US and the world, all have Riv near the top of their list. And you hear players speak very highly of it and all that. So my golf architecture brain views it and is like, I know that this is a great golf course, but I'll be honest, watching it is not the most exciting, entertaining golf course. There's not like an iconic stretch. Um, Frankly, I can't remember most of the golf holes. Like a lot of other courses, you at least get pockets of like, I know 6, 8, 9, 10 of these holes, and you don't really get that of where so I'm not debating the merits of an execution test. I'm not debating that as a country club. If you go out there and play it, it's probably like one of the greatest golf experiences you're going to have. Just saying from like a raw entertainment perspective, it doesn't really do a lot. Like it's just kind of like a singular monotone color of green. It's not really in a city center and it's not really by the water. It's just kind of like there. And the contrast coming off of Pebble, just it doesn't really, it's weird. Like I'm watching it going like, oh, this is so great. And then in the back of my head, I'm like, I'm not really into this that
Yeah.
much.
Yeah, it's one of those things where everyone tells you how great it is and like how much you should love it, but then you're kind of like when you really think about it, you're like, I mean, do I? And
Yeah.
maybe some of this, I know Tiger brought this up about flirting with moving it to August or whatever. Maybe you move it to August, maybe it changes things. It gets firm, it gets fast. Maybe some of the holes become more interesting. I don't know, but yeah, right now, especially being on the back end of Pebble, um, yeah, it doesn't do it for me right now. And I totally agree. There's not a stretch of holes where that are super memorable. Obviously, like 10 and 18 are holes that stick out to me. Which what's funny about 10 is like, I mean, I guess it kinda sucks now, right? It's not what it used to be, so that's kind of another thing it has working against itself, but yeah.
Yeah, so 10, I was so that's I love like it's February. It's February. We should support the short holes in the shortest month of the year. I love a good short par 4. I love a great short par 3. I think again, like it should be okay. It's like maybe it's at a weird part of the round, like that it's the 10th hole to start the back nine. I find that all of the pins that are in the front half of that green are just, it's not interesting till it's a back pin. And then even that now, because of data golf and how professionals are, everyone's like basically hitting it to the same spot. When it's soft, it was like that green when it's firm is really interesting because like guys have those little nippy wedges and they can't hold the green. And if you're slightly out of position, but like Rory today, he was out of position left, try to hit a hero shot, puts it in that front bunker left with a back pin. Every other year, that's normally like a death sentence. Like you can't hold the green from there. You got to play way away from the pin. He was able to hit like a spinner to 3 feet. So I think that was part of the unfortunate part of how soft the course was this week. But yeah, I just don't think it's and the weird part is the exposure thing we talked about with Pebble, right? That now Pebble not only is an annual event, but it's getting the US Open every 5 years. Well, Riv is hosting the Olympics and it's also hosting women's US Open and then the men's US Open in 2031. So it's like, I kind of hate that, to be honest. Like, I think I would hope those years that it doesn't, it goes to an alternate venue those years to at least give a breather, but we'll keep repeating it the couple times a year it happens. You can't be a PGA Tour stop and a major championship venue. It doesn't work in today's arena. Like I can't separate you as being this special property if I see you every year as a tour event. So, I go, Olympics is kind of interesting, I guess, as a host venue for that. But it goes back to, again, of what is this course supposed to be? Like the rough needs to be a little more gnarly to really, because there's not, like I said, there's not penalty off the tee. There's no water. There's not really out of bounds. The driving range net comes into play one time, but it's a massive net. So it's, if that rough isn't roughing to where when these guys do have 180, 190 in, it's kind of not the greatest. I sound dumb because it's not like these guys annihilated the leaderboard, right? But Thursday was also nuclear weather, and then guys were pretty, going pretty low on Thursday, Friday, Saturday. How much of that was soft? How much of it was rough? I don't know. But I guess I am kind of leaning towards that camp of, is Riv a little overrated? But I just don't, I don't know if I'm quite there yet.
I think it's just not interesting to watch professional golfers play it, at least not right now where it's at. And as a golf architectural snob, like I'm sure if you get on property, you kind of like see everything, you can see the angles and the routing. You're like, oh, this place is brilliant, but it's just not, you can't show that kind of stuff on TV easily. And these pros, man, they're blowing it past, bunkers that I don't know.
Yeah, like when you have the split fairway par 5 and you got the 290, 295 bunker, and it's just like, well, that bunker is there to make the left a tough option. But when 85, 90% of the field just doesn't even look at that bunker, and now the left is the easy option. Whatever. So it is what it is. You find it weird that, you find it weird Tiger's never won at Riv, and that's the event that he's the host of.
That's pretty wild.
I have a theory, but I do have a theory, and I think it is because of what I just said. And I'm going to tee this up. I have a theory why Tiger Woods has never won at Riv. So Riv does not have traditional penalty off the tee. And what I think what that does is it really frees up that next tier of golfer to be a little bit more aggressive. It does become a ball striker's course. And you would think, oh, if it's a ball striker's course, Tiger's going to have this ultimate benefit. But as tournaments get tense and you get pressure, and we know now with data how important strokes gained are off the tee, I think more guys are just more comfortable off the tee at that golf course than they are at other venues. Rory said it earlier this week they said, why is he driving it better? And I think on Saturday, his quote was, Well, I don't have the Pacific Ocean on my right, so it's a little easier to just let it go. So I do think when you absolutely have no discernible trouble that's a penalty stroke off the tee, you kind of neutralize that strokes gain off the tee, which then brings probably more guys into the field. So it's probably also a little bit of randomness how he didn't ever just click. Maybe it was too early in the season for him, but yeah, it's kind of odd. Also, Tiger, yeah, you got to do. Was that theory totally cooked? Was there anything behind that?
No,
I
I mean, that kind of
it
just
could,
blew my mind. I thought he had won Riv like multiple times, but
no, no, it's just the one he's never won, so it's really odd. Also, when he came in the booth Saturday, Tiger in peak sweaty Tiger fashion. Just when the side angle profile he would be talking to Jim and Trevor, and you just see that sweat glisten, and the sweat's glistening for one reason is because he's fucking beating balls at the range like a mother. It's like Tiger 101. He's back from the injury. He won't talk about his progression, but he's sweating his ass off in there. And the only way you're sweating your ass off in 65 degrees in LA is because he was just absolutely ripping it.
let's hope that's why he was sweating, not for some other reason.
No, I think it was that, man. You know what else?
I don't know. He's had some
He's had some stuff going on. It's sad.
weird stuff going on at Riv.
He did tease out, they what's funny, you got Trevor Immelman, who's very, eloquent. You have Jim Nance, who's like, he's been doing this forever, but it's so funny with Tiger in the booth. Both of them lose their ability to be direct and articulate to that level because Tiger is an awkward person to speak with. He gives like short answers, so you don't know if he's mad at you. You know what I mean? He a lot of times doesn't break character and he's just staring at you. But I don't think he's doing it. I think that's just his personality. He's like trying to listen. But he has awkward pauses, and then you could just tell some things he's not going to get into, and he just does his chat GPT canned response. And they obviously talk about his ramp up and and he's talking about turning 50, and then they finally ask him about the master, like there's going to be a lot of players there, like is there someone else who's going to be there? And he's like playing dumb. He's like, oh, I think there's going to be a lot of players there. And it's like, okay, dude, cut the bit. Like, are you going to be there? And he's like, well, I'll be at a nice dinner before, but I can't say anything more than that. It's always just playing coy. But then they did get into a little substantive talk about, so Tiger's the chairman of the competition committee, whatever players rep thing. And some of their their goal is to roll out all the changes in 2027, understanding some of them won't be effective until 2028. And they pressed them. They're like, could this event in Pebble Beach be at the end of the year? And he just gave the, everything's on the table. Everything's being discussed. Everything's on the table. So,
yeah, he had some quotes that I was reading that kind of made my skin crawl a little bit. It was just they were talking about kind of like the challenges of reshaping the PGA Tour schedule and all that. And Tiger said, I have the quote right here. It's trying to serve literally everyone, from the player side of it, from our media partners, from all of our title sponsors, from the local communities, or even changing venues and going to bigger markets. It's what do we need to do from a competitive model to make our tour the best product can possibly be each and every year. It's like I think that's what got you guys into this whole mess, is like trying to appease literally everyone. The sponsors, I mean, the players. But I still have hope. I mean, if they do move Riv and Pebble to August, that would be cool.
It'd be a good start. But no, it does make me cringe. I know some of that's just PR stuff, but yeah, I mean, it's business 101, man. When everyone has a veto card, what you end up doing is you like you said, you appease, and it's not to get like some kind of consensus of like, oh, we're having a collective bargaining agreement discussion. It's like, no, man, like you should have one goal in mind. Like, the most entertaining and competitive golf tour. You know, the best players at the best venues and the best times of the year to showcase the players in those venues. Like anything outside of that is a distraction, and that's the stuff that he did say, like, they've had a discussion with every sponsor and they understand they're open to moving, and there might be some flexibility of like when in the year and what locations they're at. But that's the whole issue with PGA Tour. We talked about it with James Nicholas a little bit, about media rights and all these things of, you don't know contracts, media rights, who owns it. It's like every other sports league's figured this out and they know how to be dynamic. And like, I know the hard part with golf is that it's not as simple as like, well, you're in Atlanta, so we're playing in Atlanta. So it makes the scheduling a little bit easier. But man, they have to figure out a way to get some flexibility back to be able to make dynamic changes a little bit more rapid. And that's the only way I think it could be sustained for the future.
Do you think it's a good idea, or that it's good that Tiger's involved? Like, I think we immediately just think, oh, it's Tiger, like the greatest golfer ever, that he kind of like knows all this stuff and will be able to navigate, all this complex tour stuff. And it's kind of the same thing with like college football. Everybody says, oh, Nick Saban, the greatest coach of all time, he should be, the commissioner of college football. And it's kind of the same thing with like Tiger here. We're just kind of all expecting, oh, Tiger's involved. He'll make it right. But I don't know.
No, I think experience and wisdom can help advise and inform, but I hope it's a little bit more advisory than they let them know, and the roll-ups of the world kind of know how to intelligently take advantage of that to say like, oh, your input, you're really calling the shots, but this is what we're really going to do, but just to get enough critical mass of the players. Because I do get it that Tiger's still going to be a needle mover. He did mention again, because they said, if you play in Augusta, would you play before? And he said, I don't know. And they said, what tournaments could you even target? And he said, I don't know, maybe one with a golf cart. So he really seems to be all in that he's going to play some Champions Tour golf. And I think that's for the best, dude. I mean, I think the PGA Tour, I still say this, it's going to pull bigger ratings than some tour events if Tiger's, competitive.
This is not what we need. We need to get rid of the Champions Tour. We do not need to put it like on a lifeline with Tiger going out there.
And it might have been on the way out if Tiger will give it the lifeline of, golf carts, and doesn't have to kill his body walking. And then, if he can walk for majors and just play the rest of the time, but it would also be sad if he went out to the Champions Tour and like wasn't dominating. I don't want to see that either. But
he's not going to play Augusta. If we're talking about he needs a cart, it's the hardest walk in golf.
Yeah, but maybe he can ramp up for just like that week. Well, the thing is, because he gets no competitive reps in, and the only way he can get competitive reps is by walking on the PGA Tour. It's just not
just couldn't get any reps in.
Yeah, that was good. Okay, Tiger. Everyone loves talking about Tiger. But all right, anything else on Riv before I got a couple other quick things before we get out of here today? As I'm just trying to survive for the lettuce heads.
It's all for the lettuce heads, baby.
Okay. So this is still kind of Riv adjacent. So on ESPN, I will say ESPN streaming is a lot better than other versions of streaming for pro sports prior to, and like the PGA Tour had their version. But one of the stream casts that you could watch was the live ESPN betcast. And like, man, I'm so conflicted because I understand how big DraftKings and FanDuel are and how big sports gambling and betting is in all sports, but also it's just kind of like all these sports are kind of going so all in on it that it's like, is this not just a recipe for disaster? And maybe it's not just specific to a golf question. I just think that these relationships are all going to end really, really poorly for some federal investigations over the next 5, 10, 15 years. It's just too many people involved. There's just too much. And now there's so much money in sports. And now you're throwing more with sports betting, and you're like the sports leagues are endorsing it and partnering. I don't know. You say I don't love slippery slope arguments. I say that all the time, but that's a real slippery slope. And like I'm sitting there watching, and it was like, I don't know, it was like Ryan Fox. And he's got a 16-footer, and it's like got live odds you can bet. And it's like on one thing, or like also I hate to be this guy, but it's kind of unhealthy, man. Like it really is a terrible vice, and like making it that easy, that it kind of fucked up.
Yeah, the live betting piece for golf, I'm just not sure I can get behind. I mean, you think about what was it in Phoenix when you had people, I think it was Phoenix, yelling and
Yeah.
whoever it was backswing, and it's like
Yeah.
you're gonna get a lot of that if you've got somebody, hey, I'm putting money on like whether or not this guy's gonna make a par in this hole, and like, hey, go
Yeah.
shout in his backswing. Like, I seriously think you're gonna get more of that as long as we keep pushing this like live betting, and I
Yeah.
just don't get it, man.
It's just, and the thing is, what sucks about it is again, I know I'm not in the room to have to turn a profit, but it's not like it's not really for growing the game or attracting a new audience. It's just for attracting degenerates chasing and doing what is going to, yeah, like let's fire bets on whether or not, Aaron Rye's two gloves are going to stay on his hands for the day. I don't, it's just, it's getting a little weird.
It screams our product sucks, so let's like get some live betting to bring in some people.
My only counter to that would be I get it. Like other sports are doing it, but again, unique to golf, like you said, if I'm sitting there and I'm betting that, the 47-yard field goal is going to be made or missed, I have no impact on that. Even if I'm at the event, right? Like I can't scream louder than it is. But in golf, you can make a no kidding real impact easily to a golfer's performance. So yeah, I don't know, that seems to be something. Ooh, more to come on that, but that's a weird one. Uh, Last one I had is we're going to talk a little. It's not. It's kind of about live, but it's about Jon Rahm. So the news broke this week, a couple days ago. If you didn't know, the live golfers that had DP World Tour status have been suspended because of going to live golf. Now, since then, they've allowed them to matriculate back in and play some events and all that. But there were still 9 players that had like a suspended status, which would impact future international teams, Ryder Cups, other big events, the race for the Rolex series to Dubai, whatever the hell the thing is called. All of the 9 players, they came to an agreement, and 8 of the 9 players took the agreement with the DP World Tour to get back to have normal status. They had some payment of outstanding fines they had to pay. The one player who refused was Jon Rahm. And man, I'm not gonna sit here and get on my high horse of the moral police completely, but I feel like I have to do it a little. It's like, dude, read the room. You went to live. We get it. We're over it. It sucks for competitive golf, but $400 million. You clearly don't like it there. We know you're going to want to come back to the PGA Tour. But here you have DP World Tour basically throwing you a bone of saying like, hey, bygones be bygones, but here's the bill to pay. This is what you got to do to get back in. Everyone else, even the Tyrrell freaking Hattons of the world, says yes, and they do it. But Jon Rahm won't, because you know why? Jon Rahm is the villain. It's kind of Phil adjacent. If you hung out with him, he's probably a fun guy. He's probably a cool guy to be around. But when it comes down to it, he's another Arizona State product. He's one of these Phil disciples. He like not reading the room, bigger than the world. Like, come on, man. Like, you can't. So what do you? I'm kind of getting to the point of, when these guys don't re-up for live next year and PGA Tour does this kind of open enrollment period like they did for Brooks this year, I have a feeling Rahm and probably to a degree Bryson are going to be like, no, I'm not agreeing to any terms, but I'll come back. I think at this point you just got to go, okay, great. Like, sorry, like we have to move on. You're not holding us hostage. Like, we're giving you the olive branch. You're not giving us the olive branch. Because, by the way, you're on live right now and you can't pull a rating. So how much value are you really? That's kind of where I'm at. It just pisses me off of like, dude, now you're going to introduce more drama for international golf. Like, you could just cut the damn check. It'll probably be a fucking tax write-off for you anyways for paying some kind of penalty, how it's structured. I don't know. Just ridiculous.
No, I would absolutely love for the PGA Tour and DP World Tour to kind of like play a little hardball here. I mean, the tour they hold all the cards now. I mean,
Yeah.
Brooks has already come back. P. Reed left. So I mean, it's really just it's Rahm and Bryson. And honestly,
NAK.
like and AK, can't forget about him. But yeah, so the tour will be fine without those. Like, I would love for those guys to be back, but it's not like, oh my goodness, like we're missing Rahm and Bryson. Like, what's the tour gonna do? Like, it'll keep going. Like, it's got other guys, it's got other stars, and they don't need you, like, straight up. Like, they hold all the cards at this point. And if you just want to continue to sit on live and, you know, not pay this fine and play hardball yourself, that's fine. You can just be cool with loud music and Anthony Kim just stunting on you every Sunday. Like, whatever.
Yeah. I mean, I do want to be clear. Would I love it all consolidated into premium or signature events? Of course. But I think it's to the point now where, all right, the PGA Tour had an olive branch. DP World Tour has an olive branch. Your product is dying. So, like, this is the deal. And, like, you take it or you don't. And we have enough players because now there's not a risk of players defecting. I don't think that's realistically going to happen. Not anybody who matters. So we're past that, phase. So now, like, the haymaker's been thrown, we've absorbed it. Now we're coming to have terms as adults, and it's like at some point it's going to bite somebody's going to get bit where the whole world's going to come back together except a golfer. It might be maybe Rahm and Phil just be on live. It'll be high flyers and crushers and the Korean team and great. And maybe Anthony Kim continues to be good and it be like literally restarts this whole debate in a couple of years because it just gets so much attention because people are obsessed with watching them. But I think we know that that's probably overstated on the likelihood. Yeah. Okay. Well, cool, man.
It's just not surprising because Rahm, he's a bad actor. Let's just call it what it is. The guy's a jerk. He's a prick. Like, everybody knows it. We just call it what it is. I mean, this is not surprising. This is the kind of behavior that he's putting out there. So,
wow, God, dang! I don't think he's coming on the pod. But I'd love
his loss. You know.
Yeah, his
we'll
loss.
We'll pay his fines.
Dude, we'd have a pretty good write-off for next year. You think we get audited for that? Yeah, we had a $3 million write-off this year. It'd be bad. All right, man. Well, I that's all I got. Literally, physically, mentally, and but it's all good. All right, let us head. So here we are. This is gonna be the last episode of February. So we're gonna be rolling right into March. What does March mean? March means what? We got one? What?
I thought you were about to say this is gonna be the last episode ever.
No, it very well might be.
You ended that way. You're like, oh, right. Well,
if you would have been talking to me 12 hours ago, you would have said this. There's no way this episode's going on. So, but yeah, so March is here. So spring will spring. Spring has not sprung, but it will be springing.
We got a golf trip coming up, baby.
We got golf trip coming up. After that, we do have we got onesie twosies in the Southeast region. We're still working out what we're going to be doing on the West Coast for the summer swing. Going to be a lot of fun stuff. Still a couple extra guests too. And of course, we're going to hit master season, baby. So everyone's going to be listening, tuning in. The pod metrics go through the roof because the Masters bump is a real thing. But no, we can't wait. And, most importantly, we'll see you next week and stay plugged. Peace.
Comment, like, subscribe.